Here we go again with another mock draft. It is April 8th, 2026. Man, a lot of things have changed. As we're going to see here in the first four picks. As Arvell Reese goes 2 to the Jets, Mendoza stays at 1, Maui Goa goes to the Cardinals. What is going on, you guys? It's me, Jason, aka Titans Daily, and welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I've done a mock draft. Probably a couple months, maybe. I don't know. A lot of things have changed. The Titans have signed Hendon Hooker, KJ Osborne. A lot of pieces on the depth. Their players reported to minicamp this past week. We saw stuff with, Calvin Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson, obviously. Jeffrey Simmons. I think it's time for, first year players on the team and, some vets that show up to minicamp. Minicamp. I'll tell you guys the dates of that real quick. April 21st and 23rd is voluntary minicamp. OTA, off-season workouts, are May 18th, 19th, 21st, May 26th and 27th, May 29th, June 8th and 9th, June 11th and 12th. Mandatory minicamp is June 16th and 17th. And that report was from Teron Davenport of ESPN. So this is just a mock draft, 7 rounds. Pretty sure I put it on 7 rounds. Hopefully it's 7 rounds. If it's not 7 rounds, I'll fix it. But the consensus with me, with the 4th overall pick, I think that the Titans go with Jeremiah Love. The Titans have a really good history of running backs, specifically, Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, Eddie George, Earl Campbell. I think the Titans are going to take a running back here. I mean, it all makes sense to choose Jeremiah Love over, Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. I'm going to take Jeremiah Love at 4. Go on to the next pick, which is at 35. I'm not going to take any trades in this one, just frankly because, we have a lot of options here. As we get to the second round, Colton Hood is still on the board. As we can click on Colton Hood, this website got an update. So the last time I did a mock draft, that's how long it's been. Colton Hood, Tennessee player, Tennessee corner, not wide receiver, like Chris Brazzell. He's going to be really good. Miles Kitselman's going to be really good in the NFL. Think about all the Vols players that are going to be in the NFL. I think they're all going to do really good things, hopefully. Got another college football season right around the corner. His spring practice has kicked off last week or a couple weeks ago. Everything's exciting. NBA playoffs start next week. Next Tuesday, right, is the play-in tournament. I'll make a video on the NBA playoffs like I will every year. This is just called, the 2026 mock draft 2.0. Anyways, let's get to the mock draft. I don't want to bore you guys on other sports. Colton Hood, great player. Saw him play 3 times this year in person. Against Vanderbilt. It happens. Toughest loss of the year, honestly. I mean, you could point out the Florida game. Florida game was really good because the Vols won in Florida for the first time since I was born. Probably, right? It's been 23 years. Something like that, give or take. I went over the Vols stuff in a previous video. I'll let you guys know about that. But yeah, let's get back to the mock draft. 35, this is where I would go best defensive player available. And right now it's Colton Hood. Linebacker is someone that I really want to get because we missed out on Ruben Bain at 4. Picked Jeremiah Love. Linebackers in need, definitely. Anthony Hill Jr., just, really good player. Really good player. If I pull up his card here, and I go traits, all the elite backings of a great linebacker as I go off the screen here. His height and weight's pretty good. Arm size, if you're a great linebacker, you're going to be instinctive and you can read a defense. You can know what a 4-3 defense is, which is probably what Robert Saleh is going to instill in this Titans team. There's different defenses you can set. You got, obviously a 4-3, a 3-4. You do a 3-4 out. 3-4 out basically means you have two, you got your weak side linebackers, you got your strong side linebackers, aka the Sams. Everything has a acronym behind it. Pro day, hand size was 9 3/4. 40 at the combine was 4.51. It's a really good combine. I'm going to take Anthony Hill Jr. We can get wide receiver, offensive lineman, hopefully in round 3. As the Miami Dolphins decide to move up, but I'm not going to take any trades in this mock draft. This is a full 7-round mock draft, so I think right now, I should think about the Titans, offensive weapons. Obviously Oscar Delp would be really good. Another Georgia tight end. We've seen that with Brock Bowers with the Raiders, right? And the Raiders are about to get Fernando Mendoza. He's definitely going 1. If he doesn't go 1, then it's not the draft. But Oscar Delp, another great tight end for Georgia. Really good. Utilizes his size, 6'5", 245. His testing, 6'5", 245 is still pretty good. If you watch film of this guy, his Georgia Pro Day, he got a 4.4940. That might be hand timed. Oh well. 23 reps on the bench, 38-inch vertical. Man. No, here's his historical combine comps. Yeah. Look at this. Michael Mayer is really good, in that conversation. Sam Laporta would be a really good comp for this guy. Zach Ertz, yeah. I think Kenyon Sadiq is probably the best tight end in this draft, right? I'm going to obviously have one more mock draft before the draft actually starts here in 2 weeks, right? Oh, man. It's going to be a busy time. Oscar Delp, I like it, but I think we need to go offensive tackle just because, Lloyd Cushenberry leaving, but that's just like a center. You still got to think about J.C. Latham, Dan Moore Jr., Peter Skoronski's in his contract year, and all the others. That's what the draft is for. You can replenish, rebuild. It's going to be something else. Demetrius Crownover from Texas A&M, 6'7", 335. I think we go Demetrius. He's just a tall dude from Texas A&M. He's a tackle. Yeah, I'm going to take Demetrius Crownover. I like that pick. As we go into round 4, we got 101. Oh, the Ravens, they want to talk to the Titans about who? Derrick Henry? Oh, wait. DeAndre Hopkins. No. A.J. Brown, maybe. If A.J. Brown leaves the Eagle. Imagine that. If A.J. Brown gets traded, you know what? So what? He's probably going to go to the Patriots just because of Mike Vrabel. But that's Mike Vrabel. That's all-time Vrabel. I'm not going to take the Ravens offer. I'm sorry, Ravens fans, but You've taken enough from the Titans. Steve McNair, Eddie George, Derek Mason. I can go on and on. Corners. Yeah, this is where I want to take a corner, just to have more cornerback depth along with Alontae Taylor. You know, we got Cordell Flott in free agency. Man, list goes on and on. But I'm gonna look at that list and I'll tell you guys the offseason acquisitions that the Titans made. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna find the list and I'll name it off to you guys. Okay, here we go. We got stuff from a week ago on April Fool's Day, but April 1st. So, Michael Carter from the New York Jets, quarterback Hendon Hooker, wide receivers KJ Osborne and Lance McCutcheon to contracts. March 23rd, 2026, Titans signed linebacker Mohamed Diabate. Reminds me of a basketball player. That's why March Madness just wrapped up. Real quick, congratulations to the University of Michigan. Taylor Lewan, congratulations. You know, shout out to Taylor Lewan, everybody. If you don't know who Taylor Lewan is, look him up. One of my favorite Titans players ever. And you got to show the online some love. To Will Compton, too. Both of them are really funny people. Okay, Titans also, the whole Jermaine Johnson, second from the Jets, in exchange for T'Vondre Sweat, signed wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, quarterback Mitch Trubisky, defensive lineman John Franklin Myers, Jordan Elliott, cornerbacks Joshua Williams, Cordell Flott, and Alontae Taylor, guard Cordell Volson, tight end Daniel Bellinger, punter Tommy Townsend, and center Austin Schlottman to contracts. Acquired defensive lineman Solomon Thomas from the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 7th-round draft pick. So we have an extra draft pick. Also, here's another term. A compensatory pick is a draft pick you get from before the draft if you do like a 7th-round exchange pick or something like that. You get a compensatory pick for that impending free agent or whatever the terms of the contract are. But yeah, Titans did some moves in free agency. We all saw it. They released Xavier Woods, hired Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator, hired Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator, hired Robert Saleh as their head coach. Keeping in light of Robert Saleh, I am going to go corner here just because I think a team needs as many corners as they can get after we saw what happened with L'Jarius Sneed. The Titans did release L'Jarius Sneed, I believe. I'll back myself up. Yeah, they did. The Titans did release L'Jarius Sneed. After 2 years ago, they traded him for abundance of picks and money because immediately after the Titans traded for L'Jarius Sneed, they decided to sign him into a long-term contract. I think it was a 4-year, $72 million, if I remember the estimate. But they saved a lot of money doing that. Moving on to the draft. Tacario Davis. That's a big corner, 6'4", 190. Goodness gracious. He's got elite technique. His testing. He's got a 4.4 40. This might be someone that's gone. But Tacario Davis, welcome to the Titans. This is just a mock draft, so don't be too engaged. But the Colts are trying to offer the Titans something. Trying to dig out of their own hole. So the Colts are sending, I'm just going to read you off the terms of this if you're not watching the video. Picks 249 214, 156, and the Titans in exchange have to give up 142 and a 27th, 7th. I'm not taking any trades in this mock draft, as the Texans take Aiden Fisher. Oh boy, this confuses things a lot, but not really. I mean, you can go linebacker here, go Harold Perkins, unless the Cardinals take him, but I don't see the Cardinals really going linebacker this late unless they already took Arvell Reese at 3, but Caleb Downs or whoever that the Cardinals want to take at 3. I'm going to take wide receiver here. Makes the most sense. You got Malachi Fields still on the board. Now this is somebody I would love to see the Titans go after. You know, has a slow 40 at 4.61. You know, could be like Will Fuller. I'll see his comparison here. Surprised Will Fuller didn't pop up whenever you think about Malachi Fields. I mean, Will Fuller was really fast. And if you don't know who Will Fuller is, used to be a wide receiver on the Texans that came out of Notre Dame 10 years ago. Or something like that, 10, 11 years ago. Really good player. Couldn't stay healthy, but Kevin Coleman Jr. from St. Louis, Missouri, went to the University of Missouri. Undersized a little bit. That's what I see initially. Dazon Stribling, 6'2", 207 from Ole Miss. Got a 4.36 40. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Man. Alec Iomanor comparison is pretty good. Might have to get Stribling. Yeah, I'm going to get Stribling. So throw some competition in the wide receiver room. And then the Cardinals take Seth McGowan from Kentucky. Do we go another defensive player here at 144? Yeah, I think so. Perkins is still available. You know, he's a small linebacker. You know, or we can go defensive tackle with Chris McClellan. His testing is pretty damn good. You know, pretty good for a defensive tackle. And whether you put him on the line on like a 3 technique, 5 technique defensive tackle, I'm going to take Chris McClellan from Missouri. We're waiting a while because pick 184 is coming up, and the Bengals want to trade with the Titans. Why would the Bengals want to trade with the Titans? Reject. Who do I go here? I mean, the Titans do have a decent O-line, but it's not incredibly fixed yet. That's why I'm taking an offensive lineman, even though I probably already took one. Yeah, I did. Demetrius Crownover. What a guy. Do I go center here? Do I go Pat Coogan? Pat Coogan from the University of Indiana. Transferred from Notre Dame to Indiana this past year. He bought into the SIG, as in Kurt Signetti. Projections, Titans at 184. Yeah, might have to get Pat Coogan. I'm going to take Pat Coogan. Yeah, I'm going to take Pat Coogan. Now we take it 194. My goodness. Do we go tight end here? You got to, right? If you're the Titans, you got to take a tight end because you lost Chigo Okonkwo to the Commanders. You got to think about the tight end room. It's probably just going to be, Gunnar Helm, David Martin Robinson probably. I mean, if he got signed to a futures contract, I don't remember reading anything about David Martin Robinson. I'm going to check, though. Tight ends, Kylan Granson. Yeah. And Daniel Bellinger. Huh. Maybe we can just add a depth tight end. You know, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a depth tight end. Riley Nowakowski be really good. He's a smaller size tight end, 6'1", 249. 4'6", 640. Got small hands for a tight end. I know he's from IU. You get someone like Marlon Klein. 6'6", 250, ran a 4'6", 40 from Michigan. Jack Endries, another Texas tight end. Could this be Gunnar Helm 2.0? Transferred from Cal. Size is just one of the big things. Marlon Klein from Cologne, Germany. Okay. Got an NFL international transfer program. Hand size is only 9 1/4. But his 40 is just off the charts. So is his vertical. That'd be a great blocking tight end. Let's get Marlon Klein on the Titans. 225. I don't think anyone wants to trade with the Titans at 225 unless they really like what they see. I think best player available is going to help us. And I think linebacker, maybe double dipping in linebacker would be a really good idea. Maybe get the best edge available. Tyreek Sapp. I took him in my last mock draft. Tyreek Sapp. Man, these testings, man. 6'2", 273. Tyreek Sapp would be an option. Tyree West would be an option. Got a great 40 for an edge rusher. Tyree West, listed at 6'3", 290. Measurements at Pro Days, 6'2", 6'1", 7/8. So basically 6'1", 3/4. I'm going to take the Tennessee kid, Tyree West, unless I see someone off the charts that on offense that, makes sense. But really, I'm going to double down at edge or linebacker, off the edge linebackers. Can't get enough of them. Tyree West coming to the Titans. That concludes the mock draft. Obviously, I'll show you guys the first round. Jeremiah's no matter what the Titans do at 4th overall in 2 weeks, they're gonna be just fine. Whether you go Maui Goa, Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, etc., the list goes on and on. But I think whatever the Titans do, it's up to them. Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker. This is the first round. If you want to take a picture of that and be like, oh wow, it's gonna be much different than it is come draft night. Yeah, we don't have a clue of what's gonna happen on draft night, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Whatever the Titans do or end up doing on their roster, they're probably gonna trade Will Levis. Just because a locker room of Levis, Mitch Trubisky, Hendon Hooker, Cam Ward. It's going to be very interesting. Have 4 quarterbacks, so I expect the Titans to trade Will Levis between now and June 1st. I say June 1st because there's a deadline, just like everything. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry it's been a while, But as with any draft, I hope your team does as good as the Titans. No other way to put it. But as you can see, this is the first round. I'll list it off real quick. Mendoza, Reese, Maui Goa, Jeremiah Love, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, David Bailey, Ruben Bain, Jamad McCoy, Caleb Downs, Caleb Lomu. It's probably Spencer Fanu isn't okay. Anyways, Sonny Styles 12 to the Cowboys, Kenyon Sadiq to the Rams, Jordan Tyson to the Ravens, Mansour Delane to the Buccaneers, Omar Cooper Jr. to the Jets, Monroe Freeling to the Lions, Keldrick Falk, Caden Proctor goes 19 to the Panthers, Dylan Theinman, safety from Oregon, goes to the Cowboys because that's what they got in return in the Micah Parsons trade. Micah Parsons. Olai Vega Loan. Guard goes to the Steelers in what could be Aaron Rodgers' last year, but I don't want to speculate on that too much. Akeem Mesidor, edge from Miami. Spencer Fano goes to the Eagles at 23. Max Aheen Anchor. Max goes to 24 to the Browns. Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson, goes to the Bears. CJ Allen, linebacker of Georgia, goes to the Bills. Kristen Miller, defensive tackle, Georgia, goes to the 49ers. Blake Miller, offensive tackle from Clemson, goes to the Texans. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech, goes to the Chiefs. Casey Concepcion, wide receiver from the Texas A&M Aggies, go to the Dolphins. Brandon Siss, cornerback from South Carolina, goes to the Packers. Avion Terrell, cornerback from Clemson, goes to the Super Bowl winning Seahawks. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below. Appreciate all of your support. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload new videos like this. I promise you, though, there will be an NBA playoffs video, just like there was last year. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care of yourself. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.